You won't believe who I met. Jack's ex Kate. He just broke up and 2 kids dashed into the bedroom. 1 daughter, 1 son. This surprise family reunion nearly short-circuited Jack's brain. Jack hurriedly dressed and dashed down the stairs, with no time to consider if this was real or a dream. He just wanted to know if he had lost anything. Jack navigated city chaos, soon parking in front of a fancy NY apartment ready to show off. This is my client's place. What are you even saying? What? I'm Jack's friend. Penthouse C. Jack's brain hit the alarm. He was the richest big shot in this building. How did no one recognize him overnight? Even the classy lady was questioning where the switch dude came from. Have you lost your marbles? I'm the wealthiest player here. I've worn this outfit more than twice. I'm making a comeback. Take a step forward. Jack, locked out, found it hilariously disappointing. The other person looked equally grumpy. So he decided to head back to the office for answers. Turns out the security at the office didn't recognize him at all. Jack furiously shouted his name while pointing to the sign claiming he was the general manager. To his surprise, the name on the sign read Alan. Jack went completely speechless. Terrified, he bolted out of the office like he was escaping from this bizarre world. Just stepped onto the street, Ferrari zoomed in, Alan driving. Plot twist. The identity switch made Jack feel like the sky was falling. Alan waved him to get in, and Jack clung to his last hope. He thought Alan would reveal it was all a prank, but instead, Alan said, "You brought this on yourself." Alan continued, "Since you think you lack nothing, then fate wants you to experience it." Jack knew Alan was something else, begging for mercy. He desperately wanted to return to his old life, but Alan just smiled and told him to learn to move forward and head breakthrough. Finally, Alan slammed on the brakes and handed Jack a bag with just a tiny bike bell inside. Jack was completely puzzled, while Alan shoved it off, dropped him off, and drove away. Alone, Jack slowly realized one thing: he could only accept his current identity. So begrudgingly, Jack drove back to the little town. Having not lived there for 13 years, he completely forgot the way. He meant to ask someone for directions, but surprisingly, he was still some sort of celebrity. "Hey Jack." "Hi Jack. Where have you been?" The man brought Jack inside, and upon seeing the photos on the wall, Jack realized they were really good buddies. The guy found Jack a bit odd and figured he must have had a spat with Kate, which is why he bolted out early on Christmas morning. Jack returned home swiftly. Kate hugged him tightly, making him feel like waking from a dream. Kate frantically called all their friends, almost involving the cops, and Jack was left wondering how to explain himself. He stammered, claiming he lived in Los Angeles, with no wife, no kids, and that this place wasn't even his home. Upon hearing this, Kate nearly slapped him twice. After a few drinks, Jack knew no one would believe him, so he pulled out the bell, hoping to summon Alan. However, he realized he was daydreaming when his daughter rolled in on a tiny bike, thinking it was her mysterious gift. "I love it. Thanks, Daddy. This is mine. Here you go, I need this." He took my bell. Kate ignored him completely. Disappearing on Christmas was annoying enough. Now she had no time for his little bell drama. She said they had to go to Tom's for a party tonight, and told Jack to change. Jack's head was spinning at the thought. He immediately said he wouldn't go. He didn't know any of these small-town folks, and it would be so awkward. "What are you doing?" "Tell my mom she doesn't have to live with the kids." "Why?" "Because you're going to be here. I'll be ready in minutes." Jack reluctantly headed to change, and those poor old clothes were nothing compared to his once vast collection of designer suits. That night, they arrived right on time at their friend's house, and Jack definitely didn't know a soul. But the friend's wife was overly enthusiastic about him, and Jack, at this point, had zero interest. He ran to pour a drink, hoping alcohol would ease his embarrassment, but his friend kept calling, oblivious to his presence. Jack realized it was time to make an exit, but after a few paces, he overheard Kate chatting with friends. Jack suddenly learned that Kate had been working as a public interest lawyer all these years, while he had turned into a business tycoon. His former girlfriend didn't cough up a dime. This scene left Jack disappointed, and he left in a hurry later. While walking the dog, he was full of confusion. He couldn't wrap his head around why Kate wouldn't learn from his past. How could she let her career and lives just slip away? In fact, Jack still hadn't realized that this Kate was actually his former wife. She hadn't been working hard because all her energy went into this family. After a day of chaos, it was bedtime, and Jack could only sigh helplessly at the cheap pajamas. Next morning, Jack got up, eyes closed, feeling around and discovering no one next to him. He excitedly thought he was back in his mansion, but the next second, a baby cried out, and Jack was instantly dumbfounded, calling for Kate. Kate, casually bathing, replied, "It's Tuesday, Dad's turn for the kids." When he heard that, Jack felt like the sky was falling. They weren't even married, and now he had to take care of kids. Looking at Dad fumbling around, Jack couldn't believe it. His father was so completely alien to him. "This isn't me. I work in a fancy apartment. I live in a mansion with a doorman, and I can buy anything I want.